This is a video about troubleshooting front wrap cross carry. This applies to both front wrap cross carry tied behind your back and the base -2 variation tied under baby's bum. This video assumes that you know the basics of how to pre-tie front wrap cross carry and you're just trying to troubleshoot some comfort or fit issues. The number one most common issue when pre-tying front wrap cross carry is pre-tying the horizontal pouch too loosely so that you have too much slack to tighten out after the fact. To pre-tie the horizontal pouch at the right point, start by holding baby on your chest with their shoulders even with your armpits. You want the top rail of the horizontal pouch to go straight across horizontally from one armpit to the other, and you need to mark on your body where baby's bum sits naturally and have the rest of the width bunched at this height. You don't want the wrap hanging down by your hips or any lower. Likewise, you don't want it so tight that you can't get baby into it or sitting too high so that baby sits up above your armpits. This will cause the top rail to bend upwards in an arc shape, which creates slack. Make sure the tails are arranged on top of your shoulders and then load baby in. If loading baby in from the top, reach up through the bottom of the horizontal pouch with one hand and grab their feet to guide them down. Make sure you lower them all the way down to the correct height with their shoulders, even with your armpits. You don't want their shoulders any higher than this. Make sure all excess width is bunched at the bottom rail and scoop their pelvis into a seated position with their knees above their hips, their pelvis tucked, and their spine rounded. At this point, you can lean forward a bit and saw back and forth with one hand to work the bottom rail up between baby and you. This will create a little bit of bottom rail slack that needs to be tightened back out, but not too much. If you have a leg straightener, you may need to tighten the bottom rail immediately to help lock the seat in place, but a lot of babies will maintain this tucked position until you can get to tightening the bottom rail at the end of your strand-by-strand tightening. When placing baby in the pouch, make sure that the pouch is simply supporting the same position that they naturally take on your chest, with their head curled towards your chest, their chin up, and their pelvis tucked. You shouldn't be using the wrap to move baby out of this position, but simply tightening around it to support them in the position they naturally take. When wrapping arms in, pull the top rail up to the nape of baby's neck, no higher than their earlobes, but above their shoulders. If baby has a strong core and can tripod sit, that is, sitting up while bracing themselves with one of their hands, they're probably strong enough to be wrapped arms out if you and they prefer. When wrapping arms out, simply pull the wrap up right to their armpits, no lower. Pin one side in your legs while you strand by strand tighten the other side. Make sure when you tighten the top rail that you are pulling up and out to the side and behind you. Up, out, and back. You don't want to be pulling forward or down away from your shoulder or in front of your body. All of these will create unnecessary corners for the slack to move around. Once you get the top rail tight behind baby's shoulders, hand that tightened rail to the other hand that is supporting baby's back and tighten the rest of the strands. Make sure you are reaching behind your shoulder for slack and walking it over the top of your shoulder to the anchor hand. Don't just pull down on the strands in front of your shoulder. Once again, that creates too many corners for the slack to move around. As you are strand by strand tightening the passes over your shoulder, make sure that the over shoulder tail is spread out all the way across the horizontal tops of your shoulder. You don't want it to go any further out so that it's running down your arm, but likewise, you don't want it all bunched up right next to your neck. It should make a line of nice even pleats all the way across the top of your shoulders. Once you finish strand by strand tightening one side, simply hold that tightened tail in your hand while you strand by strand tighten the other side the exact same way. Don't put a tightened tail into your legs or try to pin it with your chin. You'll lose a lot of the precision of your tightening at that point, and it could become diggy on your shoulders. Once you have both sides strand by strand tightened and they feel even on your shoulders, You want to do a V pull. This is whole wrap tightening. You'll pull both tails up and out to the side behind you, and you need to do a very vigorous pull on both tails at the same time while gently bouncing. The bounce lifts baby's weight off the wrap to allow it to move more easily, and this whole pull in both directions will help snug the entire carry up so that baby is held to you like a firm hug. Make sure not to lose tension while placing the bunched passes. Start by bringing them straight down from your shoulders and tucking them into the backs of baby's knees. Then tuck the tails under baby's bum, either crossing them in order to tie behind your back or crossing them to tie a double knot for the short tied under bum version. Whether you are tying under baby's bum or behind your back, make sure to tie the first half knot and give it a good bounce and pull to snug it up before tying the second knot.